Imagine this. I grew up in Jamaica believing that Brer Anansi belonged to us until one Sunday in church, my Ghanaian pastor said the name Anansi. I nearly fell out of my seat. I remember thinking, wait, what? What does he know about Anansi? Then I discovered I had been wrong all along. I thought Jamaica gave the world Anansi, but I was so wrong. But it didn't stop there. Years later, after getting to know my Haitian family, I discovered that they also have similar folklore with characters such as Ti Malice and Bouki. That's when my mind started racing. Different countries, different languages, different histories, yet somehow similar stories survived. Why? What kind of wisdom was so valuable that people carried it across oceans and through generations? Welcome back. I'm Angie Marie. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And if you are a return subscriber, thank you so much. If you've not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And remember to turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted each time I post new content. Have you ever discovered something that completely changed the way you saw your own culture? That's exactly what happened to me. Come with me, let's take a reflective walk outside. What if our ancestors hid survival lessons inside stories? Think about it. Ghana has Anansi, Jamaica has Brer Anansi, Haiti has Ti Malice and Bouki. Different countries, different languages, different histories, yet somehow similar stories survived for centuries. Why? Maybe they were survival manuals disguised as folklore. But in case you've ever looked at Haitians, Jamaicans, Ghanaians, or so many other people of African and Caribbean heritage and wondered, how do they keep smiling? How do they keep dancing, keep believing, keep rebuilding, keep moving forward after everything they've faced? I think part of the answer is hidden in the stories. They taught children and reminded adults how to survive, think wisely, and live well. They taught us that wisdom often takes us further than force. They warned us about pride because the moment we think we know everything is often the moment we stop learning. They warned us about greed because constantly chasing more can blind us to what truly matters. They reminded us that our words have power to build, encourage, heal, or destroy. They taught us that every choice has consequences and that today's decisions shape tomorrow's lives. Characters like Ti Malice and Bouki encourage us to think before we act, to look beyond appearances, to be careful of smooth talk, and to understand that dishonesty may bring temporary gain, but eventually destroys trust and relationships. Again and again, these stories remind us that respect matters. Respect your parents. Respect your elders. Listen to those who have already walked the road before you because their experiences often become protection for the next generation. These stories quietly nurture resilience, humility, patience, discernment, gratitude, fairness, and hope. Long before many people had books, schools, or the freedom to learn openly, stories became classrooms. Every adventure carried a lesson. Every mistake carried a warning. Every victory carried a principle. They preserved wisdom when little else could be preserved. But I don't believe they stopped there. I think they also preserved identity. Imagine living through a time when almost everything familiar has been taken away. Your homeland is gone, your surroundings have changed, your future is uncertain. What do you hold on to? You hold on to the stories that remind you who you are. A grandmother tells a story. A father repeats a proverb. A child grows up hearing familiar characters. Without even realizing it, an entire culture passes its identity from one generation to the next. Buildings can disappear. Borders can change. Governments can rise and fall. But a story can cross oceans. It can survive generations. It can live inside the hearts of people wherever they go. This is why they are stronger than chains. Many of us are living through uncertain times. Some are wondering where they'll live next. Others are wondering whether they'll have to start over. But history reminds us that starting over is not the same as starting from nothing. If your ancestors passed wisdom to you, then you carry more than you realize. Some things are stronger than chains. Wisdom, identity, hope. Those are the things our ancestors left with us. And now it's our turn to carry them forward. Slavery separated people by thousands of miles, but somehow the stories survived. Language changed, islands changed, names changed, yet the lessons refused to die. You can occupy a country, you can impoverish a people, but it's much harder to erase the stories that teach them who they are. We're talking about identity, wisdom, resilience. And this might be one of the most important lessons our generation needs right now. Most of us grew up hearing stories that made us laugh. We thought they were simply entertainment, something grandparents shared with children before bedtime. But what if our ancestors were doing something much bigger? What if they were hiding the lessons inside those stories so that no matter what happened, the wisdom would survive? Strength is not the only path to victory. Wisdom matters. Creativity matters. Patience matters. Hope matters. That message speaks to me because so many people today are facing uncertainty. Some are worried about where they will live. Some are wondering if they have to start over. Others are carrying fear about what tomorrow may bring. If that's you, remember this. Starting over is not the same as starting from nothing. If your ancestors passed down courage, wisdom, resilience, faith, and the ability to adapt, then you're carrying more than you realize. Your greatest inheritance may not be money, land, or possessions. It may be the wisdom that survived generations before you were ever born. Perhaps that's why learning about our roots matters so much. Difficult seasons do not last forever. Intelligence can overcome impossible odds. Identity is worth protecting. Hope should never be surrendered. So instead of asking what we've lost, perhaps we should ask what we have inherited. We should rediscover what has been passed down to us, because every culture leaves gifts for the next generation, and those gifts become most valuable during the hardest seasons of life. That's the real reason these stories crossed oceans and survived centuries. They were carrying something that chains could never hold, borders could never stop, and hardship could never destroy. They were carrying wisdom, identity, hope, and if those gifts could survive everything our ancestors endured, then they can help us face whatever lies ahead. Some things really are stronger than chains. The greatest responsibility we have today is not simply to admire the stories we inherited, but to understand them, to live them, and to make the next generation receive the very best of what was entrusted to us. I want to invite you also to check out my weekly affirmations 2 times a week. Once in the morning on a Monday morning, that's the morning reset, and once in the evening on a Monday night, or nighttime, rest and relax. So check them out, don't miss it. Starting Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Once a week on a Monday morning and Monday night, we'll be sharing affirmations to help us all. If you've not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And remember to turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted each time I post new content. I welcome your thoughts, your comments. Remember to like this video. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. This is Angie Marie, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Have a great day.